Yo, Pete Gang, time for me to do my picks for the two teams I think will be going to the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna start off with the Patriots at the Broncos, and I'm gonna say this: um, it's a tough break for the Broncos losing their starting quarter, losing Bo Nix for the rest of the playoffs because they do have a damn good defense. They can get off to the quarterback. They got one of the best cornerbacks in the league. So, and he can, Patrick Surtain the second, he can shut down his entire side of the field. He is that good. And for the Patriots, they do have a really good defense, a very disciplined defense. They can get turnovers, they'll get after the quarterback. They don't play outside themselves. They pretty much follow that whole moniker that Bill Belichick did bring in. Hey, do your job. Even though from what I've heard, that Mike Vrabel is more of a player's coach. He's strict, but he also the players like playing for him. And like I said, I wish the key players. I wish Bo Nix was healthy for this because I do think like I know one player doesn't make a team, but quarterback position that can make a huge difference. So it is definitely a tough break for him to get that injury. But on the other side, the Patriots, they got it. Like I said, they have a damn good defense, very disciplined defense. But man, their offense, it's like I know they're like top five in points or total offense. I can't fully remember this particular season. I looked at it like a couple weeks ago. I mean, even with those numbers, I don't really trust Drake May as far as taking care of the ball. I mean, that man fumbles like crazy. And who I think will win this game. It's, I know it's cliche, but turnovers are going to be weighted into. So I think if the Patriots or the Broncos they turn the ball over once, or turn the ball over once, that's going to count for like two turnovers. I feel like that's how the game's going to feel. Both teams got disciplined defenses. They got key players on there. I do think the Patriots play a more team-oriented defense. That's not particularly a stick-out star other than like Gonzalez. But having said all this, looking at the injury for the Broncos, I probably would have picked the Broncos had Bo Nix been healthy, just because Drake May he fumbles the ball like crazy. I think this is going to be a defensive game just because Stidham, I'm not sure about him as a quarterback. I'm trying to think. I think he played under Josh McDaniels or Josh Day. Yeah, I think it's Josh McDaniels. He was an OC for the He was an OC for the Patriots under Tom Brady, and Stidham played under him, whether it was with the Raiders or with the Patriots, or could have been both. I can't fully remember. So, and that's the thing I'm going on. Just because one team does have their day one starting quarterback and the other team does not, I think it's going to be a lot put on the Broncos defense to try to get those turnovers that Drake May does present because he's not doesn't secure the ball well. I mean, he fumbled what 3 times against the Texans, and the Texans only recovered one. And honestly, if the Texans did have a offense that could probably get like 20 on the board and not turn a ball over, Texas probably beat the Patriots. I mean, they probably beat the Patriots in the divisional round. I mean, I know I picked the Patriots, but I ain't trust the Texas offense, but that's not what we're talking about right now. But having said that, I do think the Patriots will be going back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 2018. I think it's 2018, 2019. No, it's 2018. Just because I'm not sure what I'm going to get from Stidham. I have no idea. But seeing him, he's probably at most an average backup quarterback. He's not like one of those like Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick was like, yeah, he was a backup, but he could play. He could put up some starter type wins, starting quarterback type wins. But having said that, I am going with the Patriots. I think it's going to be a relatively low scoring game. I'm going with the Patriots 24-20. That's the score I'm going with. And now for the NFC Championship, which is basically a rematch of the divisional games. Um, I think they split. I'm not completely sure. I know the Seahawks did beat the Rams the last time, and that was a very close game. I'm gonna say this: the Rams back four can be had. They can be beat. I think JSN is gonna have if Darnold's protected, he's gonna have a hell of a game. And all we have to do, all Sam Darnold got to do is get the ball out, and if their offense gives them the protection, especially what he had against in the divisional round against the Niners, it's gonna be a very long day for that back four for the Rams. The Rams have the number one scoring offense. The Seahawks have the number one scoring defense this season. This is going to be a battle of titans type of feel. And it's a divisional game. Technically, it's still a divisional game. They're in the same division. They know each other very well. It's the third time these guys are playing each other. But man, nah, the Seahawks, they got their defense legit. They got somebody damn good at every level. You have their cornerback Witherspoon. He can guard tight ends. He can guard the outside. They do a shell type of defense, so it's hard to get big plays on them. Even though receivers like Puka Nakua, they're trying to run routes, catch the ball, and get those tough yards after catch. And Devontae Adams, he has the red zone threat type of feel, and he's the type of guy he wants to catch a ball. Matthew Stafford throws a tough ball, and Devontae Adams, he can go get it, whether it's dragging on the sidelines, catch it in bounds, and things of that nature. Just because it's a divisional round and both teams are relatively healthy, they don't have like a crazy amount of key injuries. This is going to be, I believe, a great game to watch. I'm hoping it's going to be a mashup of Titans because usually a lot of times when you see a number one scoring defense going against number one scoring offense, the number one defense usually gives the number one offense hellified trouble. We saw that in the Super Bowl when the Seahawks got their first and only championship. They're going against a historic offense, point scoring wise, and the Seahawks destroyed that Broncos team defensively. That game was, once Percy Harvin ran that ball back, that game was over. I turned that game off, and there's every type of scoring in that game. But I am going to go with the old moniker that defense wins championships. I am not saying the Rams don't have a good defense. Their front seven is damn solid. They can get after the quarterback. They can stop the run in key times. But that back end and the special teams for the Rams, I think is going to weigh that offense down in a game like this. So I'm going with the Seahawks. I believe they're going to go back to the Super Bowl for this first time in about a decade or so. But I do think this is going to probably be a game that favors Seattle. They are playing in Seattle. I don't know what the weather's like there. That could be a contributing factor, especially if it's snowing there or it's cold. That does give the advantage to the Seahawks, and they got no one scoring defense in the league, and they can. Like I said, they're good. They have a key player at all three levels, whether it's the secondary, the linebackers, or the line. I just think it will be a little too much. Like the only way I think the Rams can be in this game and win this game, I think they're gonna have to turn Sam Darnold into an average quarterback again and get to him and get him rattled and get some turnovers. I think. This game, I think the Seahawks, let's say they turn the ball over, and it depends where it is. Let's say the Seahawks turn the ball over like 3 times, and the Rams only turn it over 2. I still think in that type of situation, the Seahawks still have enough to be able to win. But I think for the Rams to win, they gotta get they gotta turn the ball over when they're close on their side of the field, where when the Seahawks are on their own 30 or their own 40, something like that. Something away from midfield. I think that's the only way. If the Rams can cause turnovers in those situations and can get their special teams to play well, they definitely have a chance in this game. They have a chance to get an upset. But like I said, the back end for the Rams and their special teams have been they've been bad. And their punter, he'll either get a good punt or he'll shank it bad because he shanked the punt against the Bears. So with the deficiencies with the flaws that the Rams have compared to the Seahawks, I am going with the Seahawks, and I'm going with them with a score of 28-24. BAs everybody. Hopefully these games are both good. Hopefully these games are close. 4 teams left. Who's gonna go to the Super Bowl? BAs everybody. Deuces.